Ladies and gentlemen, may I welcome here on stage Monsieur Fabrice Cambolive, Brand CEO at Renault. Monsieur Cambolive, welcome to Milan.
Hello.
Hello.
Thank you for the invitation.
It's really a pleasure having you because I know that you have an extremely busy agenda. So thank you very much.
Your agenda is also quite busy. Huh?
Exactly. Mr. Cambolive, to start with probably one of the most easiest but also most important questions for this audience. How important is B2B sales, fleet sales, for your brand Renault?
I would say that if we take the numbers, one sale out of two are towards B2B business. It means in terms of business, it's of course really important. But what you showed before is for me even more important. It means our business partners are important for us in terms of quality, in terms of feedback regarding our product. They are important also for us to think about the product of the next generation.
With Renault, you are not only betting on battery electric vehicles. Why not?
I think 3 years ago there was a lot of question regarding the type of energy we should select for our customers in terms of strategy. At this time, 3 years ago, there was a lot of opportunities between hybrid, full hybrid, plug-in hybrid. There was still diesel, hydrogen, full BEV cars, and people, customers, OEMs, and fleet customers were sometimes a little lost in translation because it was very difficult to see where the market will go. And of course, if you can't predict that 3 years ago, you pay that now with your residual value. By Renault, 3 years ago, we made, I would say, three very clear choices. The first one was to bet on full hybrid IC cars, not plug-in, but full hybrid. Why? Because somewhere those cars are compliant with the regulation 2025. We are offering cars around 100 grams of CO2 per kilometer. It means we are at the level of the regulation up to 2025. And you don't have the constraint of charging your car. And the consumption is very low. So we decided to put on all our IC lineup full hybrid technology. And on the other side, we made a two-leg strategy with a bet on EV based on a dedicated platform. And dedicated platform, what does it mean? It means you don't overweight your car. You play on efficiency. You play on roominess in compact size. And that's what we are developing on our second BEV leg strategy.
Do you understand that there are car manufacturers that are only betting on pure electric vehicles?
I think we are in a business, you have always to manage risk. Okay? Donc I will not comment the one who are betting just only on BEV. I will just say that if you want the perfect balance to manage your business and to avoid a lot of risk, better to bet on two legs, very fixed on the ground, than just only trying to run with one leg, of course.
Good. You recently launched Ampere, an entity specialized on EV, but also software technology. What does it bring to Renault?
I think Ampere, the first, I would say, benefit from Ampere is speed. I think when you manage this leg of BEV cars, you have to be very reactive on the evolution of the technology. You have to be very reactive on your capacity to develop software which can be upgraded permanently. And I think to have dedicated teams focused on this EV ecosystem is quite interesting for us to be even more competitive. That's the idea of Ampere.
Okay, let's now look at a picture. Normally there is now a picture that should come. You know that vehicle?
Yes.
Yes. So you presented this concept car. It's a fuel cell hydrogen powertrain vehicle. What is your vision with regard to hydrogen as a powertrain for the future?
I think this car emblem is more than a vision regarding hydrogen. Emblem, the idea is to go towards decarbonization. More or less, if you take the CO2 balance of a normal car in the market from cradle to grave, it's 50 tons of CO2. Okay? With this car, we decided to go from 50 to 5.
To 5.
I wanted to go from 50 to 0, but of course you have to accept some grams. And to do that, the teams worked on many different fields. Aerodynamic, capacity of recycling the materials, capacity to provide parts from an ecosystem which is not too expensive in terms of logistics. And of course, after that, a dual power between hydrogen and EV. But with a very, I would say, efficient battery, EV battery, just in order not to have too much carbon regarding all the energy management. So this idea of emblem is not only, I would say, an insight regarding the future of hydrogen, but the willingness of the company to decrease radically our carbonization balance for the future and for our customers.
Now, the people here in the room, they of course would love to know what new models they can expect. When can they expect from Renault a passenger car on hydrogen?
No, I think hydrogen, we have already hydrogen on Master,
yes,
on LCV.
But, on LCV, but for passenger car.
You don't have to expect now in LCV. For passenger car, it's just a concept car. Up to now, we have to be, I would say, very pragmatical. I would say that the next generation from now is based on, as I explained before, those two legs. On one end, full hybrid on IC, on the other end, BEV. And for hydrogen, let's wait a little. We will come back with a definitive proposal, but a little later.
What do you expect as Renault, but also as a car manufacturer, as a brand, with regard to the acceleration of zero-emission mobility from the new Commission?
What we're expecting is consistency in the rules. Somewhere we don't need up and down, and we need a vision. I think the trajectory towards EV is quite clear. What I expect is the capacity of authorities to make the ecosystem play collectively. When I say play collectively, we are part of the solution with our technological choice. They are part of the solution with subsidies, regulation, capacity to maintain global order in terms of business, fair order. But the fleets are also part of the game with their capacity to make the transition towards green transition towards less CO2. It means what I am expecting from the authorities is this capacity to let us play collectively.
Okay. Of course, Europe has also put forward some strict regulations when it comes to emission reduction. Is Renault going to achieve those emission reduction targets, and are you okay if you are not achieving them to pay those huge fines?
No, what I say before is this is not 2025 is the first is the next step, and we are proposing to our customers on one hand full BEV cars, It's simple, it's 0 in terms of CO2 gram. But on the other end, full hybrid cars, which are around between 90 and 100 CO2 gram. It means the rules next year is 95. It means mathematically we are ready. Now what we have to work on is, of course, to, I would say, boost the demand on EV, which is the main lever.
And how are you going to do that?
I think we just launched, I think to boost the EV demand in Europe, you have 2 levers. The first one is the adequate offer on the C segment for the fleet. And that's what we are doing with cars which could have a cost of usage as low as possible. If you take a Scenic, more than 600 kilometers autonomy, built in France, somewhere for Europe, we are in the heart of the market. And the second boost for EV is to make the retail B segment shift towards EV. And I think for that, we just launched Renault 5, R5, a few weeks ago in France, and which will come in Europe in the next weeks. And we just presented Renault 4, la 4L, comme on dit en Belgique, in the coming months. Donc I think we focus on those 2 segments, and this is where the game will be next year to shift to EV.
Okay, perfect. We can now go to the next slide. The real question for me is whether we are able to reorganize ourselves and establish a co-opetition model. That is the real question, not the tariffs. From whom is this quote?
Well, it could be from my CEO.
Yes, very good. So very good, perfect.
I can tell you it was not prepared.
No, it was not scripted.
I discover all the question right now.
Yes.
I will speak about my team, by the way.
Okay. Of course, Monsieur Cambolive, there is a lot of discussion about the import tariffs for Chinese car manufacturers. Do you really think that an alignment will change something in your favor?
No, I think we are in a global world. The business rules have to be fair. And what I expect is that the EU will do its job to let the rules be respected. That's the first point. After that, of course, it's our problem to be competitive. He's saying that to me each day. And for us, once again, our capacity to gain speed in the way we are developing EV is key. And the bet we made is to be able, on one hand, to do that in Europe, in France, because most of our ecosystem for all our cars are based in France and with suppliers which are coming from all around our location in the north of France and in Europe. This is very important. But on the other hand, why not to be able to partner for the engineering of the car, or even to attack some global international countries with partners. This is what we are doing also.
Even with Chinese partners?
Even, because it's important for us to have, I would say, a kind of decomplexified relation with business people whenever they are coming from.
With the different trends, the economic situation, the entrance of new players, competition will probably become more fierce in the near future. Do you expect also that sales volumes in Europe will drop?
Sales volumes are related to the purchase power of the people. It means what we have to do is, of course, we see that somewhere the market is plateauing in Europe around 15 million units. What we have to do is really to try to each time increase our cost, decrease the cost of usage, just in order to maintain the purchase acquisition, not only from the fleet, but also from retail. If we do that, I don't see why the market couldn't be maintained at least at this level.
Okay. One additional question on that. You started our interview already referring to it, the importance, of course, of the residual value and also the second life cycle of a vehicle. For EVs, for example, there is not so much appetite at the moment as expected 2-3 years ago. We also see it with the leasing companies. What can you do, or what do we need to do as an industry to make sure that also the second-hand market is behaving in good shape?
Yes. Within Renault, we had the experience, for instance, on EV on Zoe, because we sold 400,000 Zoe in Europe. I don't know if you look at the market, but we don't have any problem of used car for Zoe. Why? Because I think that in the way you have to manage your residual value, you have rules to respect. Mm-hmm. First of all, you have to have a kind of capacity to detect what are the good technologies from the bad one. Within electric, within hybrid, within between OEMs, I think it's very important to be really product-oriented, just in order to detect what will be the value of the car in 3 years. Mm-hmm. If I take an example, our residual value on the full hybrid cars, a Clio hybrid, Austral hybrid, is improving year after year. It means somewhere it's normal, because when you can offer very low consumption cars, you are sure that in 3 years, people will be ready to get it once again. Donc, I think, first of all, product. Second point, which is very important in terms of residual value, is of course, the commercial policy. If you are consistent, if you don't overshoot in terms of discount, if you are not going up and down in terms of prices,
like Tesla,
it's very important. No, I don't say like any other. I say this is our rules we have to apply to each of us. And the last point is, I would say, very important, because at the end that makes the difference, the product quality and service quality. To have a big network is in Europe still very important in terms of loyalty for our customers, and this improves the residual value of our car at the end.
Let's talk a little bit about globalization. You were responsible in Russia, Africa, Middle East, India, APAC, Brazil. How can and will a global brand like Renault benefit from globalization? And where do we, here in Europe, need to focus on if we don't want to lose our leadership position in innovation?
Yes, I went through, I've lived in 9 different countries, Brazil, Russia, and I managed a very big region from Morocco until Australia. What I saw during the last 10 years is, on one hand, new frontiers, but on the other hand, new barriers. Okay, because you don't have a global, you have, of course, a global world, but you have regulation which are very focused on local interest and so on. Donc for me, my learning from that is that if you want to succeed on an international base, you have to select countries which are enabling you to be very localized and to be capable to export. If you take our base, Brazil, India, Turkey, Morocco, Europe for BEV, on one hand, we can bet on a very important local market, and on the other hand, all those bases are made to export cars. And with a rule which is that if you are in a country, you have to have industrial assets and to be very, very localized to eliminate the danger of rates exchange, regulation, and so on. And I think if you are capable to play between those both dimensions, you give you the chance to succeed. If you go into a country just on a superficial mode, just only to make business, but without being localized with a nice network, with a nice industry, with engineering and so on, it's much more difficult, and it can't stop. It can stop from one day to another. So for me, globalization is not only this capacity to be everywhere, but to select the right place, to be locally present, and to have export capacities.
Thank you very much. Thank you for your time. Thank you for answering the questions.
Thank you.
Monsieur Cambolive.